Back again, and welcome back to what has been a while. I know it's been a little while, but a lot of stuff been going on in my own little personal life, so I apologize for that. But I'm back again, and the videos wasn't gonna stop coming. But as I said, we're going to be cracking on with where we left off, and we're going to be actually just going over a little summary in this video, a little short video just to summarize where we've left off, where we started at. So anyone who's new, who's trying to jump on to the series, this is where you're going to be picking up from within these new series of videos that that I've been putting out, and I'm going to be continuing doing. So, without further ado, we're going to be jumping straight into this little summary, just so you guys know where we left off and what we're going to be doing next. So on my screen right here, what you can see that we've had a few videos out in this series already, and we started off with video 1 in this particular series that we're working on now. Video 1 was we got into GitHub and we created our application, and we've also uploaded it to packages, so we can actually just open up our editor and just download that package right into your editor, and just you can start work from there. Video 2, we went into sort of like a little introduction of the application that we're going to be building eventually, once we get to that stage. So you had a sort of like a little visual representation of what we're going to be building, what it actually looks like. Video 3, we looked at building our first controller. We looked at the ins and outs of how we go about doing that, what the processes are, what is required in order to sort of like build our first controller, which is going to be the same implementation that we're going to be using to build any future controller, because once you've done it once, it's pretty much going to be the same implementing it in different stuff or building different controllers. And video 4, we looked at our templating engine, which is not a big templating engine. It's a very small one that I've collected a bunch of code that I have put together, which we're using to display our HTML template. And the reason why I want to keep this particular one simple is because I feel later on I might want to use a JavaScript front end, which means making all my routes an API endpoint, which I can then use to consume those API endpoints in a JavaScript framework. So I'm not really putting too much emphasis on the templating engine side at the minute. It's purely just for us to build our application and have something to look at, right? So video number 5 is where we started our login system, and I believe I've got 5 videos, as it's saying. There's 1 to 5 videos that I've done in building our login system. I will put a link down in the description, so we can, if you're new to the videos or you're new to the channel, you can go back and you could watch all of these videos and get up to speed with what we've done so far, right? So once we finished that login system, we then went on to look at implementing some middleware. Now I believe I had one middleware that I've implemented, which is, let's have a quick look. So it's going to be in app, middleware, and it's before. So it's the is already logged in middleware. Let me just collapse my sidebar so you can see this a little better. Wrong place. So there is already logged in middleware. Simple going to prevent any access to our login form once we've already logged in, because it makes no sense to me anyways, to display that login form again if we've already got an active session. So this middleware is there to block any request going to that login route, and it will simply display a message that you can see down here that says you are already logged in. So we're going to block you from accessing that route. And that's pretty much what the middleware is doing in this particular framework. It's only accessible or is only really useful within our controller. Other frameworks might use middleware in different parts, but in this particular framework, middleware, we only use it within our controller classes, right? So we can do stuff before and after a route method has been executed, right? So, and we also have access to all the request and response object within our middleware as well, and access to our controller object. So we pretty much got all the information that we need to pretty much do whatever we want with middlewares, right? So if I go back to my summary screen, so that's middleware. We looked at that briefly. It was sort of like implemented a single one, which we've got working, which I'm going to demonstrate as well visually, so you can see where we left off, what we've built so far, right? Then video number 7, we went on to implementing a simple logout system, which is going to log us out once we've logged in, right? And video number 8, we went on to implementing our registration system, right? So that registration system also, I'm going to demonstrate that also, so we can see how that works. We're going to access our database so we can see the user that we're going to be registering, so you guys can see that it does actually work. And the last video that we left off in this series is the single action class, and in particular the new action class that we looked at, which is the new action class we use to implement or execute that registration script for us. So we're going to actually carry on from where we left off, and the next video we're going to be doing is going to be the activation system, because once we're registered, we're going to be sending activation emails so we can activate our account and be able to log in. Because by default, in this particular system, when you register for a new account, how I've got it set up is you've got a status field within our users database table, which is going to be set to pending by default, right? And once it's pending by default, you will not be able to log in until that status is changed to active. So the activation system is going to do that for us once we can verify that the email that we're registering is a valid email. We can access that. We're going to be getting a link within that email. We're going to click it, and it's going to validate and activate our account for us. So that is the next video we're going to be doing after this little summary. But I also want to show you visually where we left off or what we've done so far. So I'm going to switch my screen, and you can see that we're pretty much what we've left off doing so far visually. We've implemented we created a index route where we're simply displaying some information, and we provided 2 links, a login link and a logout link. The login link is going to give us access to our login route, and the logout link is going to allow us to log out once we've logged in. You've also noticed this bool that says false, and we're pretty much var dumping something from our index.html file. I can actually show you that if I go back to my editor, and if I go back down to templates, let's close this up. Let's find templates, client, home, because we're working in our home controller route, and we're going to say index. And this is where we're displaying that information you can see on your screen right now. So we've got our name, which is what we got within this h1 tag. We've got our name, which is my name, and we're simple var dumping this privilege user variable, which is what is showing false at the minute, because we've not logged in, we've not got an active session, right? So you can see those login, this login and logout link. Let's put our next one that's going to allow us to register. Let's just do that while we're here, and it's going to be / register is the name, is the route. I'm going to call it register, just like so. Save that, and let's just switch our screen back to the browser, and let's reload. You can see now we've got a register link, which we're going to be clicking in a bit. But let's try and log in first, see where we left off. Log in, you can see that it brings up a login form that's already populated with some data, because this is my test computer. This is where I do all of my work on if I'm not on my laptop. Let's click login, and you can see that it returns an object. A privileged user variable that I just showed you within the template is what is displaying on your screen right now, and it's simply returning the super admin, which is the role, and all the privileges that is attached or assigned to that particular role. And this information that you're seeing is part of my test database that I've linked to this actual video series. So all the information that I've got in a database, I will have access to it right here. Just give me something to work with, right? So this is pretty much what it's showing. It's showing all the privileges that is attached to the super admin role, and we will get into that later on once we touch the backend stuff, because this is more backend stuff than anything else, right? So if I hit my logout link, that should log us out and redirect me back to the home page, which is what it's done. And it's also kill that session, so we're no longer seeing that object, right? So if I click on the register link now, which is the next part of the video next part of the series that we've done, you can see I've got some field, and this is based on what we've done. But for example, if you wanted to implement a registration system, you don't have to go with obviously you don't have to go with the fields in the Argo. You could go with whatever fields that you want to implement and what information that you want to take. That is completely up to you. So I'm going to show you my database, which I've got loaded up right here, and it should already be on the users table. So let's go on there. You can see that we've only got the one user at the moment, which is what we just logged in with. So let me reload. You can see we've still only got the one record in our users database table. So if I go back to my register route, I'm going to use my Chrome fake filler to fill these empty spaces to get some information. So that's it. I've just hit that button. It's fill these inputs for me. I'm going to hit register, and you can see that also redirects us back to the home page, and it's now showing a message that says you are now registered. So if I go back to my database, it reload. You can see that we've got that Alfreda Lucas. That's that user that we've just actually created. So let's try and collapse this a little bit. So this is all the form field that we've got, are all the columns that we've got in our database users table. You can see that we got first name, last name, email, gravatar, status. As I was saying, the status is going to be pending by default. By default, you always got a pending status, right? So that's where we're going to be creating our activation script, which is going to change that pending to active for us, right? And we got our password that is hash by default. All passwords are going to be hash by default. We got password reset, activation token, which is what we're going to also need when we come to implement our activation script, because we're going to be taking this, and this is what we're going to be sending to, well, not this, but we're going to be sending the non-hash version to the registered email, right? So these are all the information that is also being automatically populated when we create a new user, because you notice that we've only had 4 fields: first name, last name, email, and password. But all the other fields is going to be automatically created for us using default settings I've already implemented within the framework, right? So that is pretty much what we've done so far. We've done middleware, we've done login route, logout route, register. We're going to be implementing the activation system for our registration script in the next video. So again, guys, stay tuned. If you've got any comments, feel free to post it down on the video or send me a message directly. It does not matter. I will get back to you regarding whatever query you got in regards to what I'm doing right here. So stay tuned. I know it's been a while, but I am trying to put these videos out. It's not going to stop. I mean, it's not consistent as I would want it, but I've made a commitment to actually make these videos and see it out to the end. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So stay tuned for the next video, because it's going to be the activation system that goes along with our registration system. So stay tuned. God bless.